There are places that were once full of life, but now only intense energy remains. We are on the way. Ghost Town, PI.
Hey all, I'm Rachel Hudson, and welcome to the first episode of Ghost Town PI, where the PI means Paranormal Investigations. In this episode, I wanted to investigate a local ghost town. Here in the Sacramento area of California, there are many ghost towns. However, most of them are buried under new roads, or in the case of Old Sacramento, the new town was built directly on top of the ruins of the old town, creating haunted tunnels underground, which is an investigation for another episode. Today, we are investigating a mining town known as Mormon Island. The only problem, it is currently submerged under Folsom Lake. However, the cemetery has been relocated to the south side of the lake in El Dorado Hills. This is where we will hold our first investigation. But before the investigation, we wanted to interview some locals to find out what life was like in Mormon Island during the heyday. The first place we went was the Folsom History Museum. But currently, all museums and state parks are temporarily closed until we get better control of our situation. So it looks like we're going to have to do our own research. So thankfully, the internet is not shut down. Here is what we discovered.
After gold was found along the American River in Coloma, settlements like Salmon Falls Diggings, Negro Hill, Prairie City, and Mormon Island popped up along the banks of the river. Mormon Island was founded by a group of deer hunters from Sutter's Fort, who discovered gold in 1848 where the north and south fork of the American River meet. The town was established on a sandbar next to the river and assumed the name Island when the Natomas Canal was built to transport water to the mining communities and created the town's southern border. A Mormon entrepreneur learned of this profitable camp and went to San Francisco to spread the word, which fed the gold rush in the Sacramento area. At the height of its popularity, the town boasted 2,500 residents, many of which were Mormon farmers and miners. They also had 4 hotels, 3 dry goods shops, 5 general stores, 7 saloons, and an express office. In 1856, the Sacramento Valley Railroad was completed, connecting Sacramento and Granite City, which later became Folsom. As the population of Granite City began to grow, Mormon Island suffered a fire that destroyed much of the major parts of town and was never rebuilt. The residents of the town continued to dwindle after the gold was gone, and by the 1940s, there was only a few families scattered on the outskirts. In 1955, the Folsom Dam project was completed, and the rising waters of Folsom Lake flooded what was left of the town. The town would remain hidden from view for over 50 years, until 2007 when drought conditions in California began to slowly reveal some foundations on the outskirts of the old town. All that remains of this community outside of Folsom Lake is the Mormon Island Cemetery, a relocation cemetery on the south side of the lake. The cemetery also contains remains exhumed from other nearby graveyards, as well as 12 unknown residents of Prairie City that were unearthed in 1997 during the construction of the Prairie City Road on-ramp to US 50. As we continued our investigation, we decided to make a quick stop at the California Historical Marker on the side of Prairie City Road, right off the freeway. It commemorates what was once a thriving gold rush town with a population of up to 2,000 residents. Much of the surrounding area is still undeveloped, possibly leaving other Prairie City artifacts yet discovered. However, we didn't find any ghosts. Our next stop was Folsom Point Overlook, where the Mormon Island marker was relocated in preparation of the Folsom Dam expansion. And though the parking lot and lake was full of people, we didn't find any evidence of ghosts there either. Our last stop was the Mormon Island Relocation Cemetery, and here is where we busted out our tools and started looking for ghosts. Right, so we've just entered the cemetery. Checking this EVP here. So far, nothing. This looks pretty unmarked.
is no markings on these headstones. I don't know who's buried here. Oh, look at all this. Unknown. 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 They're all over this area. Now this one says unknown, yet it has a flower.
We didn't detect much until I found one very warm headstone, and then I thought I heard something.
Let's see. Wow. That headstone's really hot. There's somebody here. Anton?
Let's hear that again.
There's somebody here. Anton?
And then we caught some other strange sounds.
Recording. Anton, do you have a message for anybody? Are you still hanging around here?
And here's what it sounded like on the EVP recorder.
Do you have a message for anybody? Are you still hanging around here? I can see the trail is retaining some heat. Well, it's paved. Must be the cement holding some heat.
We had a lot of fun walking through this cemetery and reading all of the headstones from Sacramento's gold rush times. There was a lot of them, as you could see. The problem was, it was really hard to hear any EVPs because of all of the outside noise from animals and the nearby road. Like these geese.
So, 21 years old.
And this road racer.
Maybe it's time for an EVP.
As the sun began to set, it seemed as if the outside noise got worse. So we wrapped up our investigation.
Do you have a message for us, Wallace? I just heard a howling. It's time for the coyotes to come out. What do you think about that, Wallace? Do you hear the coyotes often? And that sounded like gunshots. That might be our cue to leave.
We reluctantly packed up our equipment and got into our Ghostmobile to drive home and examine our findings. I really hoped you enjoyed this video. Have a good night, and see you next time on Ghost Town PI.